Keith to do it for you.
And now it's working.
All right.
So if you just wait 30 seconds, it should come up.
Excuse me, please. Council will come up with something. Rachel? Right. Oh, you tell me when. Okay.
Should be working now.
As determined by Glamorgan Spring Bay Council in April 2017, all ordinary and special meetings of Council are to be audio visually recorded and streamed live. A link is available on the Glamorgan Spring Bay Council website to the YouTube platform, where the public can view the meeting live and watch recordings of previous Council meetings. In accordance with the Local Government Act 1993 and Regulation 33, these video audio files will be retained by Council for at least 6 months and made available for viewing live, as well as online, within 5 days of the scheduled meeting. The written minutes of a meeting, once confirmed, prevail over the video audio recording of the meeting. Welcome councillors, staff and members of the public, and I declare the meeting open at 2:05 p.m. The Glamorgan Spring Bay Council acknowledges the traditional owners of our region and recognises their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. All councillors are present apart from Councillor Arnold and Simons, who have put in apologies. In attendance we have Chris Schroeder, Council's General Manager, and Rachel Garrett, Council's Executive Officer. I request elected members to indicate whether they have 1. Any interest, personally or via a close associate, as defined in Section 49 of the Local Government Act 1993, or 2. Any conflict as described in Council's Code of Conduct for Councillors in any item included in the agenda. Item 2.1 is correction of assessed annual value of rates. There's a motion on page 5. Council may wish to move a motion to discuss or move a motion, so what would you like?
I'd move that
Councillor Breeny?
as the complete costs and time delays for levying greater than $10 in the rates variance still remain unclear, Council agrees to waive the rates difference in this instance.
Okay, somebody to second that? Councillor Churchill. Open for discussion. Councillor Breeny?
To support my motion, for some time we've been discussing this issue in workshops, just discussing it, looking at the implications to Council and trying to find a way clear of rectifying an issue that was unfortunately due to changes to things like software programs, the way that the Office of the Valuer General provided data, etc. It seems to me that it is behoving on us to move forward here and allow the person who is dealing with our rates, notifications, etc., who would be the person who would have to sit down and sort this out from go to woe. They need to be at this moment looking at our forthcoming rates, not looking at last year's situation. And I think foregoing the amount that Council would have gained and the pressure and time that would have been that we would likely to incur, the costs involved in that we don't know actually, I think it's well worth our consideration of making sure that this matter's put behind us, but on the reassurance from the General Manager that this issue doesn't recur. It's something that we've been indicated, it's been reassured to us that the situation has been resolved and this won't happen again. Thank you.
Further councillors? Councillor Pike?
Thank you, Mayor. Am I to understand that the difference is just the $3,000, page 9, the maximum total left if we went down with option 2 cost and option B cost? You can see there that if we bought in Brighton Council, it would be 37,817 minus the 18 would be 19,000 that we actually had left, compared to the 16,000 if we didn't. Is that correct?
The General Manager who prepared the agenda.
Yes.
Thank you, General Manager.
If you have a look through the report, the previous information that we supplied was the information you're referring to. If you look at the very last sheet, which is page 10,
Yeah.
there's a further updated analysis. So as we work through this issue, the rates officer progressively found out more information and progressively tried to provide more and more accurate information as we went through. So just to provide context, the section you're referring to was what we supplied earlier, and then the most recent advice from the rates officer is supplied on page 10.
Right.
So based upon that, we're talking about a difference, well, potentially up to $26,000. As you might see in the columns, there's 3 boxes where largely the costs are unknown, particularly the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So that the longer it extends on, the closer those figures are going to become together.
Right, I see. Okay. Mayor, can I just say that I won't be supporting, that I will be supporting to Bill, not to the other motion that's just been put forward. Thank you. Considering the financial position, we need all the rates we can get.
Any further? Councillor Churchill?
I just want to emphasise there, if I may, that there's been delays involved here. That's brought about a lot of stress on council staff, and it mightn't feel like it, but we're approaching the end of this financial year, and our financial staff are going to have that load coming on top of them again now. So I think we have to give due consideration to that, and I respect the fact that the $20,000 involved is a substantial sum of money. I do respect that, but I think we've got to look at the functioning of council and look after the staff in this respect as well. So, thank you.
Any further? So there was a telephone hookup on Friday in relation to that. I was there. Councillor Browning, Brenny, Churchill.
Yes.
Is that
Mike's on.
Councillor Simons? When council were presented with this document from the rates officer, which was possibly the day before the meeting,
Yes.
this confirmed in my mind which way I would go on this. This matter has gone over several meetings, and it was from this information it became apparent the amount of pressure that this was being put on the administration. This matter was known in August, and we're now in January, and as it states in here, as a result of not making a decision on this matter, there's supplementary valuations that haven't been able to be processed during that period. There's other alterations to properties that haven't been able to be addressed. So that's all piling up on the rates officer's desk. In addition, there's delays in calculating certificates that are required to be done for property sales. So If you recall, I did ask this question on the 17th of December. If council didn't make a decision on the 17th of December meeting, was that going to have any implications on the functioning of administration? And I said, and if it did, I'd call a special meeting early in this financial year. As you can see by the information we've now been presented with, it is and has been having a significant impact, particularly on the rates officer and on her ability to do a job. It also is clear here that to delay this any further and bill, we need to have the Brighton Council IT people available to do the work. It's not a quick process.
No, I read that.
It was a glitch in the system that created this issue, and it's that first glitch of this sort. So, again, from our rates officer's perspective, it would just continue to pile her work up whilst we waited for this glitch to be fixed. So there is a cost associated there, not to mention the fact that we are heading towards a new financial year, and part of that role is preparing for that new financial year. So, whilst there's, whichever way we go, to bill is an $11,000 loss, as it appears on sheet 10, and to not bill is a $37,000 loss, because whichever way we go, the majority of the funds that could be billed will be paid back to Tasmania. So whichever way, we're going to be running at a loss. Obviously, if the glitch didn't happen and these invoices went out early in the piece, it wouldn't be the situation. But the glitch did happen, and the rates officer has assured us that there'll be mitigation put in place, measures to put in place to mitigate the risk going forward, of like a double check and so forth, just to ensure that this situation, so hopefully ensure it doesn't happen again. But I think this matter's gone on for too long, and from a health and wellbeing perspective, now that we're aware of this, as I said, we've become aware of the consequence of a decision not having been made. I think we need to act, and I would be voting to take the unfortunate larger loss under the circumstances, so that we can get moving and rectify the issues, and then the rates officer can get on with their work on their desk.
If I may, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Wisby. Just so that it's on record that I unfortunately wasn't able to come in on the phone hookup last Friday due to work commitments, and in saying that, I've reviewed this, read this, and I concur with all around the table that we need to move on with it and take the loss and look forward to doing a much better job come June, July, leading up to the next financial year. Thank you.
I just, yes, Councillor Pike. Yeah, sorry, I'm just.
You're looking down. I've just.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at this motion, and I don't know if I love it.
Yeah.
I'm not great at words.
On the recommendation, and I'm just. Can I just have a little think for a moment? I haven't pre-written anything. I'll read that in a moment. Complete cost and time delays. I just don't think the first part of that motion is relevant.
Can I just say that I believe that the first section that says, as the complete costs and time delays for levying greater than $10 in the rates variance still remain unclear, I think that can be wiped out.
Yeah, I don't think it's relevant at all.
With respect to Councillor Churchill, who seconded it.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
And maybe it needs a little further...
Something like the entire rates in this instance. Or the rates, yeah, the entire rates difference.
Last year. Like, put the year in rather than in this instance.
Yes, yeah.
Could I suggest, Council
Can
agrees...
Councillor Brenny, I just think, to me, personally, the big factor here is the negative impact this is having on administration.
Yep.
So to me, that is the basis for my decision.
Yep.
Okay, and
Yes.
it's the negative impact that this, we can't use the word glitch, but this
Okay.
matter is having on administration, and as a consequence, council agrees to waive the rates difference in this year. Or to, I don't even know if it's the rates difference. I don't even know if that's
I
the
would,
word.
I would just say that council agrees to waive the correction of assessed annual valuation of rates
In
in 2019,
1920.
20 financial year in this instance. Well, actually, it doesn't need in this instance either, does it?
No, in the 2020 financial year,
But
1920.
I agree that if at the beginning there be a mention in some words of the reason for this.
The only thing that worries me with that, I agree with it, but I do think you probably need to refer back to, and I'm looking at the background here, that council received fresh valuations, whatever, as provided by the Valuer General in mid-June 2019.
Sounds better to me.
Right, because it's concise as to only that, because if
Yeah.
we've got another lot of valuations in
Coming in.
tomorrow,
Yeah, yes.
we
Okay.
might go, we're going to levy that,
Yeah.
right? So we don't want to do a blanket 1920 write-off.
So, assessed annual valuation as received from the Valuer
Valuer General.
Office.
In June, according to this report, it was June 2019. For the 2019-2020 financial year.
Yep.
Something about due to a programming error, maybe?
To waive the rates, are the rates. Council agrees to waive, rates.
Waive the correction of the assessed value.
So it's,
We don't want to waive the rates. We want to waive the correction.
but the correction is the levy,
Yeah,
is the rates. That's what we're talking about.
yeah, they've got to be
So-
named for what that
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Agrees to waive the correction, waive the rate, waive
Why can't it
The-
be the rates?
So it's the, sorry, I'm not thinking here, it's the issuing of rates, or it's the levying of rates that we're not going to levy.
Was it
okay.
incorrect rates variation?
No, it's not an incorrect rate,
Okay.
the rates valuation is correct, so
Yes,
basically
okay.
is that council agrees to waive the rates levy, what do you call it when you're going to ask for money? Sorry, it's the rates,
Procurement?
or sorry, waive the levying of rates related to the correction, related to the, take out correction, related to the assessed annual value of rates as received from the Valuer General's office for the 1920 financial
Just to
year.
waive the levy.
I think that is what it should say.
Maybe a little bit from over the top to add the reason why we're doing it. I think it's clear, isn't it?
It's clear. You could put, you can, it doesn't have to just be a one sentence. You could put the basis of this decision is due to the negative
Yeah.
impact.
From a programming error or something. It was a
The
programming error.
negative impact
Well,
on staff load or staff.
Well, it's not,
workload.
it's two different points, Councillor
In a s-
Browning.
in a s-
So it's,
Okay.
we're not talking about how it happened, we're talking about the reason for the decision, and the reason for the decision is based on negative impact on the administration of council.
Sounds good. I concur with that variation to my original two-liner.
By delaying this matter any further, I think,
shows there was some history that we've...
Yeah.
Yes, it's fine by
And will incur more, yeah, okay, that sounds fine to me. How about you, Rob?
that. Yes.
Councillor Churchill, sorry.
Okay, so councillor Brenny, you're okay with that slight
Yes, I am.
modification
Thank
to
you.
your original motion? Councillor Churchill, any comment in relation to that?
Council agrees to waive the levy or rates related to annual
And the-
rates as season value general office and June to the basis of decisions of administration of council by delaying the matter further. Yes.
Deputy Mayor?
Yes, if I may, should it not have some monetary value as a comparison too, with regards to the workload and the amount of money that's going to be generated by pursuing it?
Well,
Can
there's no money's
can
going to
I-
be, they're both losses.
They're both losses.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I
There's one the
respond?
lesser loss than the other loss.
Yeah, that's right.
If I could, Chair, respond to that. I think we may not be aware of the actual amount that it's going to eventually cost administration to do it, and that's one of the issues. We can't actually tell how much we're wasting by allowing it to go ahead and not getting back. So it may be a problem.
And just one other thing too, I think the other point to note is the majority of the rates that would be collected in dollar value would be coming from primary producers,
Yes.
who of course are in drought and are suffering at the moment. So
Yeah.
that's another reason. There's quite a few reasons why I think it's worth taking this additional loss over and above the loss regardless of levying. It's the angst on the ratepayers that would be most affected.
Not that that's a reason for my supporting this motion, but it is a positive outcome. That's for sure. They're going through enough trouble as it is without us hitting them with another bill.
Yep.
Just for the sake of it.
Councillor Churchill?
Just was going to say that the reasons behind it all are well now described in the agenda anyway, and that will be on record. And I think that page 10 summary makes the evidence for it public enough to attach to the motion to make the motion and everything apply and make sense, if I make sense saying that, yeah.
Councillor Pike?
Yes, thank you. I too, like Deputy Mayor Woods, did extend an apology for the teleconference due to circumstances I couldn't handle. However, today has been very fruitful. I was thinking about my decision on this. This discussion we've had has been very fruitful. I would like, though, you did say to us earlier, Mayor, will we have something in place or a backup in place by June? Can you tell me that?
So I'll just explain this bit to
Yes,
you.
if you could.
So how this happened was the information come in from the Valuer General
Yes.
and the information format had changed slightly. So there's two ways to input. There's button A and button B, right? And normally if you put this file in, it will only be accepted by button A or button B, whatever this file's for. Right? So this might be a file type for button A and this is a file type for button B.
Mm-hmm.
Got it in the wrong way on you.
That's
Anyway, a new file type came through. The wrong button was hit, it appears,
I see.
but it was accepted. It shouldn't have accepted it
Oh,
because it was a brand new file type.
yes.
Okay, so the computer didn't pick up
That it
that it was a problem.
problem.
One would think that that could just then be reversed, and Bob's your uncle. Wish it was so easy. Not the case.
Okay.
First time it's ever happened, they don't really, not particularly sure on how to fix it, therefore not particularly sure on how long it'll take, therefore not particularly sure on how much it'll cost.
Yeah,
So these prices are based on 5 days' work that we've got in here.
yeah. But what I'm talking about
Oh,
is
so going
I'm
forward,
going to the
yes.
next.
Yep,
the
so
valuations
the
are going
mitigation,
forward. Is
yes,
what I'm
so the
saying.
rates officer has confirmed, and so has the general manager, that there'll be a process put in place. There's a
That's-
double tick off, and yeah.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. That assurance.
Yes.
That good that we've reviewed, and that can. Okay, that does change my perspective on the
Yeah.
issue, then, the matter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Put the motion. All those in favour? It's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, I now declare the meeting closed under Regulation 15, the Local Government Meeting Procedures Regulation 2015, Statutory Rules 2015, number 38. The meeting will be closed to the public according to Regulation 15(2)A, Personnel Matters. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming.
Could I have a... Oh, no, I want them to leave. Move into closed. Oh,
I picked up on that.
Thanks, ladies.
I washed it.
Thank you.
Okay, could I have a motion, please, to move into closed?
I'll move that council moves into closed session at 2:29.
Somebody to second, please. Councillor Breeny. All those in favour? It's unanimous, thank you. Could you just unplug my phone there, please?